third episode of our second season of Two Dudes, One World.
Two dudes, one world indeed, my friend, because we are far away, as far away as we can be. Because before you were in New York and now you are somewhere special. And before I was in South Dakota and now I am in Bolivia. We are literally at the other opposite end of the world. So two dudes, one world. Small world.
It's amazing. Yeah, last time we both called from the same continent of the North America, and now you're in South America, and I'm in Asia, currently in South Korea, finishing the summer program. So it's amazing that we could still find a time and place to connect and record another episode for our listeners, and also for us to maintain our friendship and share lots of exciting things that have been happening, and so many things to cover. We called only a little bit prior to this podcast, just to catch up, but we both don't know what's been happening. So I'm happy that we can also share it like this through this podcast. And also, I'm sure it's going to dive into our deep thoughts and ideas and silly things as usual. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude. And the theme we have been carrying all of this time was like, what was something you learned? Just something random you learned. So I bet you learned a lot of things in South Korea because you are literally on a semester abroad. So you're technically learning.
Yeah. It's full of learning. This is called like an immersive summer experience. So it's not very intensive when it comes to learning. It's more about experiencing the Korean culture and also meeting friends from different parts of the world. There's around 200 students from all the different countries in the same program, learning about Korean culture, taking Korean classes, and then experiencing the Korean culture through activities such as Taekwondo, K-pop dancing, tea etiquette. We had done the Korean archery. And yesterday, actually, a very cool event that happened. We went to the South North Korean border called the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, and it was pretty lovely. So many new inputs, so many new things that I've been learning, even though it hasn't been very focused. Like, let's say if I would came here only for language and I would be grinding too much, everything has been just like you touch it and you decide whether you want to keep more or not. But it's been lots of learning experiences. And again, my assurance that I love Asia a lot came back, and I'm super happy that I can be here, and I'm happy that we can share this together. But I'm very curious because you have done a big step right now that you're back home in Bolivia, in your home country. So how has the process for you been? Because I know it's hard to move out from America after you live there for such a long time and you have all of your things set up there, and now you have to quickly reorganize, reschedule, and move on. So tell me, how has it been for you? What have you experienced?
Dude, it has been great. I forgot completely how easy it is to get food poisoning when you are traveling abroad. So on Sunday, actually, I got food poisoning. Horrible. I'm taking antibiotics right now. As a matter of fact, I have like 20 minutes before I have to take my antibiotic. Man, it has been good, but like crazy. Like you said, everything I think in the US is very well organized. Everything is very efficient, if that's the best word to put it. But the more you travel, the more you realize that at least in countries that are not super developed, because I don't know how it is in Europe, to be honest, but in countries that are not super developed, things are not effective at all. And it's just a loop made on poor decisions, because like the people are not evil. The people at the bank that make you wait like 3 hours for a paper are not evil. But the system is so bad designed that those people look like they are the ones making you wait. You know what I'm trying to say? For example, I went today to the university of my city because I want to start going to Confucius Institute again, just to polish my Chinese skills, which are so proficient, by the way. I forgot everything. And they gave me a piece of paper and they are like, okay, with this piece of paper, you're going to go to the registrar's office, financial office, and you're going to pay. I was like, okay. But the thing is like the university is so far away. So I had to like literally go to the other end. So I went to the other end of the university and I arrived and there was a huge line. Like I would dare to say like 40 people in front of me. And I was there at like 4 p.m. And I started waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And like the line was moving one person at a time. And by the time it was 5:10, because they apparently close at 5, but there was so much people, but at the time it was 5:10, without saying nothing, the dude that was inside there just grabbed the blinds and shut it, like completely shut it, and like he didn't give any explanations, and a lot of people started pounding on the thing. I was
Siesta
like, come
time.
on, we have been waiting for like 4 hours. Let us in. Let us, like, come on. And like the dude just closed it. And he did not give no explanation. He didn't say nothing. He literally abruptly closed it and shut the light. So that made me realize, like, oh crap, it's very different to live abroad.
Oof. And it's like must be hard when you're so used to having your time scheduled. In America, there's a saying that time is money, so everyone is like cautious about their time and really planning stuff. And now you experiencing something like that, and it must be tricky probably to stay on top of the things, not letting it to influence your thinking and your mood, and still trying to stay on top of your things. Have you found some like good practices that you do so you can stay sane and not like being like a crazy mad panic mode?
I'm in a crazy mad panic mode right now. No, I am. I am. I think the best thing for me to do, at least in this process, or if you decide to go back to your home country, is to embrace the culture completely. And that means kind of get detached from the things you practice and kind of relearn things as you go, and then you merge them with your original ideas. So I stopped doing American the moment I woke up in my bed, because I knew I'm gonna be here for like a year, right? So I stopped being American. I told myself, well, I'm still gonna show on time, and on time mean being right on the dot. I don't have to show up 10 minutes earlier. And if people don't show up, it's okay. I can just wait. But I'm not very upset. I'm not fighting things. I'm not, like you said, it's important to keep your mental sanity, understanding you cannot impose a culture on people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it is in Korea, if it's very efficient time wise, because I know Koreans and some Asian countries in general are very specific and very strict with the way they operate, right?
Yes, that's a good point. People here, I would say in general, that's the thing for Asia. They like to follow rules. There's so many rules that you should like follow, and it takes time. But time-wise, this is a very interesting experience because I'm in the easternmost part of South Korea. Literally, I'm just by the ocean that is facing the Japan. It's the East Sea that is right across from Japan. So if you would take a boat from here, it would take like 2 hours until you reach the banks of Japan, which is so cool, very nice, lovely. But because this is such a oceany and also mountainy environment where lots of people from Seoul, they spend their summer holidays here to just chill and relax. The whole time perception here is so slow, incredibly slow. And it's impacting me too. I'm used to, from America, from New York especially, walking very fast, trying to always hurry up so I can be somewhere on time and I don't have to waste my time. But here, everything slowed down maybe like 10 times. So walking is so slow. You have time. We have only like morning classes, and afternoons are usually free. So you finish, and then it's a full day for you to do. So I've been really trying to slow down as well, take it as a time for recharging myself. And luckily, because it's a university exchange programs, you don't have to deal with lots of bureaucracy as you would if you would come here for long term. It's just a very short one. So we submitted all of our documents before. And now we just dealt with stuff like opening accounts for phone. Some people open bank accounts, but for me, it wasn't necessary for just 4 weeks here. So that was okay. But I can still see that the rules are very, very everywhere in here. And people, especially Koreans, like to follow the rules. And, there's something that they should do or shouldn't do, and they just live within those borders. Like for me, because of the international experience, I'm sure it's the same for you, even though there are some rules, but you're still trying to look around and be flexible with the rules, because if you follow every rule to the fullest, you're gonna kill so much time and you're gonna spend your energy by being loaded with bureaucracy, and I don't think it's a valuably spent time. So that one is fun. Like there's even the university is a beautiful campus, and we have views from different points of the campuses. And there's rooftops, right? And of course, there's rules, like there's a saying like, don't go to rooftop, it's not allowed. But I have my Czech explorer spirit. So the first thing I did my first day, of course, I went to the roof to find a view. And now I shared it with a couple of my friends, like, oh my gosh, how do you know about it? Like, have you been here before? Like, yeah, I kind of go here every evening to just like calm myself down and to think about it. But it's funny because other students and mostly Koreans, they would never think about exploring this because it's a rule and they don't like to go behind this rule.
That's interesting, man. Here,
So now for you, it's been like, sorry, I wanted to say for you, it's been like what, one month in Bolivia right now?
yeah, about 1 month. It's gonna be 1 month in 3 days. You know, what's interesting is like here people don't like rules. Like they don't follow the most common sense rules, dude. The other day I was driving and I stopped in a stop sign and I got like the horn was blaring behind me because apparently I almost made somebody crash. And it's because nobody stops for stop signs in Bolivia. I completely forgot about that. Nobody stops. Or like I was waiting in the highway and then there was a red light and then the car started honking at me and he got upset, so he decided to cross me over and cross the street, but the light was red. And the guy was basically saying, I'm not gonna follow the rules, I just see there's an empty spot and I know there's no negative consequence to that and I'm just gonna go through, which leads me to a very interesting question. How are the negative consequences in Korea or in Czech in general, because you are very, very, very familiar with the Czech culture. I know in America, if you go over a red light, you know you're screwed, right? Like there's no I'm sorry, officer, I didn't know. Here they don't control anything. How is it in Korea and Czech?
In here, I would say they would control it more, but also, so like for me, if there would be one word to describe Korea, for me it's cuteness, cute. So even police here is very cute. So like for me, experiencing America, also Czech, I'm not super fearful from police, even though it sounds crazy, but they're like very nice and cute and very, very polite as well. They bow to you and they wish you a happy day. So of course, if there's something crazy that would happen, that would probably be serious. But like these normal things, I'm not very worried about like being like punished somehow. For example, there's funny rules. We have a beach here, and there's some rules about swimming. When can you swim? When you cannot? And what is super interesting for me to see people from different countries, because there's lots of international students, how they are approaching these rules. So we all hang out together, and if there's like if there's a time where you should not swim anymore, usually the Koreans just say it and like observe the ocean. But then you see the huge group of European students, lots of Hungarians here, and they all go and run and jump to the beach and swim at night, and they don't care. And the Koreans like, oh my gosh, they're swimming, wow, they're brave. And usually it ends up that there's a guy in a very cute electric mobile, and he comes to the beach and he whistles his whistle and says like, oh, no swimming, and he leaves and the guys go swim again.
Oh my gosh. Remember that one time we were in New York in the subway, and we were taking the scooter, right? And you took me actually to the other like island on the pontoon. Is it called ferry? You took me on the ferry, and then we were coming back, and we started scooting down, right? And there was the guard that yelled at us, "Hey, no skateboarding, no scootering here," or like something like that. And it kind of made me remember like we did it anyways. Like we were very punk. Like we literally like we stopped like 3 seconds, we passed him, and then we climbed in front of him on the scooter again after we passed him, and we just kept going, right? So it is interesting that you say you were being like punk over there, because we're being punks too.
Yeah. And also authorities in general. I feel like when I was younger, I respected authorities a lot, but also my American experience helped me to realize that, you should question authorities, because I think it's a helpful and healthy thing to do in life. So there's lots of authorities here, but they're authoritative only because they have the position. There are many times, because I'm older here in this program, sometimes they're younger than me. It's funny. They have rules for the dormitory, so all the students have to be back by 11 p.m. And if not, they're gonna like take 20 points away from your account, and you have 100 points. If you lose all of the 100 points, that they say they're gonna move you out, which is very hilarious. And like I go here at 11 p.m. I'm getting ready to sleep because I like to follow my time to sleep. And there's like a young guy, younger than me, and like checking my room, and it comes to the room and he looks very like official and serious, like, hey, what's up, dude? It was like, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just checking your room, everything okay, and then he goes. But I find it super funny when you give people position and responsibility, some of them take it very seriously. But I think it's important to question authorities, because some people are taking it too strict, and I think it's not fair. You should still be friendly, you should still focus on the human factor. And like, what makes him more important than us, right? Just because he has the position, like, he's still a student, he's still just a normal person, but because of his power, he can take advantage of it. So I like to question it. If they are too strict, I just go talk to them. Hey, do you think this is okay? Like, would you want to do it for your friends? And they like, they stop and they start thinking, and they usually are very shy to reply. We have like there's announcement speakers in each room. And at 11 p.m., the dorm masters, also students who are in charge of the dormitory, they do announcements. And they're so strict, almost like authoritarian, like dictatorship. Like, guys, we need to remind you, there's no alcohol, no food, nothing allowed in your dormitory. You cannot visit other friends in other rooms. If you do it, there's going to be strict punishments. You're going to be expelled from the dormitory. It's funny experience.
It doesn't sound like the South Korea I imagined. Like, I don't know why. I was imagining something like, hey guys, imagine the intercom. Hey guys, tonight, K-pop party at 11. Calm down. Be there, like, or be square. Very authoritative, but like in the funny way. Authoritative? I don't know how to say that.
Authoritative, I think. Yeah, I also cannot pronounce it. If there's a word I struggle with, I say it very fast and it kind of gets mumbled. But this is what you mentioned, like all the karaoke and the drinking stuff is happening prior to the curfew time. It's called curfew, the time when you need to be back for your dormitory. But it kind of sucks because, you have classes and after you have some time, lots of people go swim or just chill. And then 8 p.m. hits and everyone's like rushing. Oh, we need to drink very fast. We need to go hang out very fast because 11 p.m. we need to be back. So it's a little bit pointless, but it's fun. It's fun. Lots of singing here. Koreans are, again, very social. But because it's a specific place with very like beach and touristic location, I don't think the environment here is very friendly for all these things. But we have a beach, so a lot of people hang out by the beach and just hang out and talk, occasionally drink over there. So from this point of view, it's been very nice. I'm curious, you can share with the listeners. Now you're at your home. Where's your home? What is your home like? What does it mean for you to be at home, and how are you in your home?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, dude. I am home in Bolivia, South America. I feel like I've said that so many times. And I love to say South America because so many people don't. So many people think it's in Africa for some reason. And it's okay. My geography is horrible. Home, it's beautiful in the sense that the weather is very nice. For example, right now, the weather is 50 degrees and we are in winter. And people say, 50 degrees.
50 degrees Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit. Yeah,
what is it in Celsius?
Yeah, like 15, maybe.
Okay. Do you also use Fahrenheit in Bolivia?
No, but dude, it's messed up. I completely forgot how to use the exchange in Celsius. So like, I know I sleep at 69 Fahrenheit. That's my ideal temperature, but I cannot tell you what it is in Celsius. I feel bad.
So it sounds like 18, 19, roughly.
But
the conversion rate is complicated because it's not
exact.
Constant. It changes.
Yep. But what is interesting, and it took me a little bit to realize, is that when I was speaking with some American friends and I told them it's 50 over here, they were like, oh my gosh, 50 in the winter? That's like the dream. And I was like, yeah, but we don't have heating in the houses. So 50 degrees feel like 50 degrees when you're trying to sleep, right? And also in the summertime, 80 degrees are going to feel like 80 degrees without AC. So it makes you realize how some countries are just so used to the commodity of heating or AC that they cannot think of other things. Also, being home for me means that I finally have some time to work on the things I really wanted to work for a very long time, but I just didn't have the space to do it. Right now, I've been working on a lot of music. I've been recording and producing because I have the goal to produce my first album. It's tricky though. It's very tricky because I came from a very, very high stress, high effectivity environment where I was thriving in the chaos. You know it better than anybody. It's like go, 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 go. You never stop, right? And I came here and everything is chill, everything is slow, everything moves at the time it needs to move. So if I don't constantly remind myself that, oh man, I'm behind, I need to like stand up and I need to do this, or I need to go to my computer and do this. It's crazy. I haven't checked my email in the last 3 days, which is what? I haven't checked my email in 3 days, but yeah, I mean, I didn't have the need to check my email in the last 3 days. So it's been refreshing, but also very scary because you can also fall into that relaxation and just get used to do things slow, which is, I don't know. I don't want it to happen, but that's where I am so far.
Super to hear that, and a great decision for the album. I think it's a good step. I have two things that just came up to my mind when you were talking, more like geographically now. So you said during winter, summer. One thing, the first thing is, I think it's very cool that I'm calling you from my morning here in South Korea. It's 9:40 in the morning, and you're having your evening the previous day for me, right? You're having 8:40 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
So that's amazing thing that is happening. You know, I can
Pitch black.
I can predict how your morning will be because I'm already experiencing the morning. So there's a lot to be looking forward to. I would say. And the other thing you said, winter. So now it's a winter time in Bolivia.
Dude, wait a minute. I need you to move your head just to the left a little bit.
Like this?
No, just kidding. To the other.
But if I do that, I'm gonna be on the bad position for my camera, dude.
No, it's funny that we were talking about the. Okay, I don't mean to embarrass. You can cut this out if you feel like.
No.
It's so
What
funny that we were talking about the rules and like how sometimes it's good to be punk, and you're exemplifying that by having your Jagermeister bottle on your shelf, like in plain sight.
That's my roommates. They're my roommate. And for my camera, the one that the people will be seeing, there's no bottles in there. Yeah, oh my, that's so many funny stories with my roommates, but that's gonna be the next part. But is it winter right now in Bolivia?
It's winter.
That's messing my mind because like I have always lived in a place where June, July, August means summer. Even right now, it's a summertime, it's a monsoon season, super hot, super humid, and this is what summer is for me. Lots of sun, and I can wear shorts and I can be very relaxed. But in Bolivia, it's winter right now. So how do people spend winter in relatively summer months?
Dude, it's funny because we have October, November, December are our warmest. Like December and January are the warmest months. You know how bad it was when I was a kid to watch American movies of Christmas and see everything covered in snow, and I was like looking outside the window and everything was warm and palm trees, and it's a very, very interesting thing for sure. People live in the winter. Like, it's funny because people are complaining of the cold constantly. I don't feel cold. Like, I'm just wearing a sweater because it looks cool right now. But my grandma, like, she's wearing so many layers as if she's wearing Aberdeen, South Dakota right now, like at negative 30 degrees. But I came to the realization that your skin gets used to it, because I remember when I first arrived from Aberdeen, the first summer, I felt so unbearably warm, and I was coming to the winter, right? And it was like 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It was like 15, let's say. Yeah, 15. But I went outside with my t-shirt and everybody was like, you're insane. You're going to catch a cold. No, that's so bad. You shouldn't do that. But my skin got used to that. And also when I went back to South Dakota, after being in Bolivia for like 2 months for the very first time, I went to the warm end of the summer. So like late July, early August. And I was melting because my body was not used to that. So it's interesting how your body and your skin gets used to that. If you didn't know anything about that, we just learned it. Because we're speaking about learning things.
Yeah, I think adaptability.
So speaking about learning.
Well, just one thing to close. I think adaptability is one of the most beautiful human traits we have. Because look about all the diversity happening within the world. Like people here, they eat like 90% fish all the time, fish, 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 fish. And I like fish, but I cannot imagine eating the whole time. But they're so adapted, that's their style, and they can survive. There's opposite side of the world when they eat only like wheat products or lots of bread, lots of flour. And also people can survive, can be healthy. So this is a super amazing thing about us as human. We can adapt wherever we go, which I think it's lovely. And I think it's so important to keep it reminding ourselves that we can adapt to any situation. Sometimes it might be very challenging, but we can try to adapt and try to keep our best possible thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And what is something you have adapted so far?
Oh, I have adapted absolutely for the food and the culture. But for me, it doesn't feel like adapting much because for me, it's always excitement. I would say it's everywhere I go, but especially in Asia. I always have like this excitement when I go to Asia. Oh, amazing, delicious food is coming. Cool people that have like very strong bonds. And if you get close to them, you can become very close to them. So for me, it doesn't feel like adapting. It feels like I'm exploring and I'm enjoying again. I don't know why. Maybe there's some like Asian gene in me previously. I would like to believe that, but I really feel like home at here, even though it's so much different. Like yesterday we had dinner and there were like a bowl of cold noodles, literally noodles that are buckwheat noodles filled with ice and like a little vinaigrette soup with some kimchi and with some like local sauces, and so refreshing, right? But if I would be home and I would serve the main dish that would be cold, people would be like, oh, that doesn't sound right and doesn't sound comfortable. But here it feels good and I like it. So yeah, I'm adapting, I'm exploring everything that I face here. Mostly food. Culture is fine for me. I don't find lots of differences. Maybe the biggest thing I struggle with is the way they teach classes here. I feel it's not very updated. It's quite old school. We have textbooks from, I don't know, from early 2000s, and we're learning Korean language in a quite intensive way, but in a very boring way. Like, we're gonna learn grammar today. It's like, why are we learning grammar if we are here to learn how to speak or how to use the language? If you're a kid, you don't learn
like
grammar,
you're for the
right?
conversational.
Yeah. You should learn like how to say hello, my name is, and what do you do, what do you eat, what do you like, where to go, what is this, how is this. So yeah, I'm trying to filter this out and learn for my best own sake. But yeah, things like that. How about you? Do you feel like you're adapting being back home, or does it feel for you like, oh, I'm home and it feels right?
Feels like I'm relearning how to be from my own nationality, because I became a hybrid between an American and a Bolivian, and I forgot what it means to be a Bolivian. And now that I'm here, I feel like crap. I feel like I belong in America. It's funny. But yeah, I have a question though, because we're talking so much about me. I have a question and kind of tailoring this a little bit to what is something you learned. I see your Berkeley, New York City t-shirt, and I don't know if we mentioned this in the podcast, but you graduated this June of the program, because we haven't recorded for a long time. So what is something you have learned in your entire experience at Berkeley?
Whew, very tough question. Very complex. I think it's been a package of learned things that I took away from Berkeley. What I learned again, reminded myself again, that it's important to find the right people that you want to develop the deep relationship with, and maybe filter out those that you don't think are very suitable for you to have close to. Because you go to new places, exciting, you want to meet everyone, you try to hang out with everyone, but then I think it's good to discern who is the person that you feel like, oh wow, it's inspiring for me to hang out with this person, I can learn so much with this person, I feel comfortable with this person. And before, during my undergrad in Aberdeen in South Dakota, I think I didn't have this skill as developed, so I was trying to hang out with lots of people even though it maybe didn't feel right, and I was trying to tell myself it's going to be okay, I'm learning new things, it's my discomfort zone. But I think in New York I learned to make much more intentional choices when it comes to friendship, when it comes to time. And I think it was all caused because of the environment. The environment in New York was very difficult, challenging from so many points of views. So you really have to realize why you came there, what you're trying to strive for. And many times it was difficult for all of our classmates because at the beginning we were all very friendly, but by the end of the program, there were competitions happening. People were not helping each other that much as at the beginning, and everyone was becoming their own separate unit. And for me, it was a little bit sad because, yeah, of course, we're studying same major and we're going to probably compete in the future for the same positions. But the best thing we can do is really to be close and to collaborate, because this is the best way how we can find more opportunities. Like if I find a cool opportunities and I can help you get another one, it's going to multiply. If you help someone, the person will think about you in a much better way than if you just fight with that person. So I would say that this is something good that I took away from Berkeley. Of course, on top of all those things that we've been learning, which has been like a lot, a big package connected with music technology, music production. But this would be probably the most important thing I learned. And also on overall, I think I learned that I like New York City, which sounds incredibly crazy.
No, it's very amazing that you say that. And as I was hearing what you were saying, I was smiling a lot because I think I found the topic for our podcast, and it is adaptability. We have been talking so much about adaptability without even realizing we're talking about it, right? I was talking about figuring out how to become a Bolivian again. You're talking about adapting to the Asian culture. We're talking about how does it feel to have summer in the winter months and vice versa. So like everything is about adapting. And I know both of us like to be very philosophical at points, and I would love to open that part of the talk that we usually end up being very deep. And I think the only way you can thrive in life is if you have the adaptability, right? Because so many times you get settled in one way of thinking, and that way of thinking can be very problematic in the long run, right? Mm-hmm. So as long as you have adaptability, you can adjust to crazy situations like your classmates being very competitive, or like nobody respecting time schedules, or like the authority overstepping their power. Mm-hmm. But as long as you have that flexible mindset, you can do amazing things.
Absolutely. And also, I think one thing that is so applicable for anywhere, you don't need school to be successful, no matter what school it is. I think education is extremely important, and I believe in power of education. But I don't think that school is the one that's going to bring you what you want necessarily. I don't think school is as important as people like to think about it. And especially like prestigious school, they say like, oh, it's a famous school, it's a very hard school, it's a famous whatever. I don't believe it's a factor, because you can meet amazing people anywhere. You can also meet average people everywhere. That was applicable also to my experience. So it's all about what you make out of that experience. And when it comes to adaptability, same thing. I think it's super important to stay as open as possible, because even in here, it's amazing to have this diversity where literally people from all the different parts of the world are coming to one place. And then you can see some people struggling. Oh, I don't like the kimchi. Oh my God, it's so bad. We have to eat it every single day. I was like, be happy. You can eat kimchi every single day. When else you're going to be able to do that? You can come home and eat your potatoes, eat your tortillas, eat anything you like for the rest of your life. But here you have an amazing chance to try something new and to think why people here like that thing. Why is it so important for them to eat this kind of food or to do this kind of things? And I believe if you approach it with this mindset, the experience is changing, and you don't need to complain. You can just fully enjoy, and then just pick the ones that you want to adapt and you want to keep maybe for your life.
And that's the thing that's important to know, right? When you adapt to something, you don't give up who you are. You just accept new things and incorporate them to who you are. So there's not truly adaptation. It's more like incorporation.
Mm-hmm. It's like our brain technically has the unlimited capacity, and it's like having another hard drives, and you're updating and you're getting more and more and more. But it doesn't mean that those hard drives become you. You can use them whenever it's important for you. But overall, it probably makes you more comprehensive person with all the experience, but you can still be you in whatever kind of situation, which I think it's wonderful. And we've both been trying to remind ourselves to strive for that, right?
Absolutely. Well, sir, I think this brings the conversation to a nice point for a break. It has been fantastic speaking with you, man.
Absolute big pleasure on my side. I'm happy that we did it again. It's going to be the third episode of our second season. We have one more that we recorded actually in February, but we haven't posted it yet. So this one will follow after this third episode. So there's more to look for. And I just looked into the list of our episodes previously, and we did 8 episodes for our first season. So I think this year would be also good to strive for roughly 8 episodes. So I'm extremely looking forward when we call next. I'm sure it's going to be again from different places and from different perspectives and from different experiences.
Dude,
but
for real.
I really hope that you're going to have your planning calendar behind you. That's something I like, you know, even though you came home to the place, you brought something with you from America that had a great impact on you, like being intentional about your time, scheduling, planning, and you have it behind you, and it seems like you've been doing that. So that's great.
Adaptability, man, at its finest.
Adaptability and upgrading based on your experience and making the best out of the time.
There you go. Amen, bro.
Thank you so much for a great talk, Edu. I appreciate it.
Hey.
And thank you everyone for listening. 2 dudes, 1 world. Yeah. They say 감사합니다, 안녕하세요, and they bow and they're very, very polite here in Korea. So I hope this laugh over fear can come to more places in the world.
Amazing, bro. You have a good night. Oh, sorry, good day. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Have a good one, everyone.